Hello, Money Queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Welcome, ladies and money queens, to Women Behind the Millions, Season 2, featuring our fearless financial trendsetters of our newest best-selling book. Became a bestseller actually yesterday as of this recording. Financial Trendsetters, revolutionizing the role women play in building wealth. And tonight we have an incredible, fearless, again, woman who is one of our contributing authors to this book on with us tonight on how to create a legacy beyond a lifetime. I mean, that title just gives me chills right now. I am so excited for tonight's episode and to bring on our guests. And as you know, we always start with something that's really going to ground us through this episode and hopefully through the rest of your day, week, month, year, something that you can lean on when you need that hit of inspiration, that little ounce of courage to take that next step with it. And every morning, you probably know this by now, I do my daily money practice. So I drop my kids off at school. I get to work by about 8 o'clock and I need a moment by then. I need a moment. We all know what it's like. I work out in the morning, training for an Ironman. Don't know how my husband convinced me to do this. So I'm up at like 5 a.m. and then I'm trying to get ready, getting the kids ready. We're flying out the door and somebody's melting down, me or one of the kids on the way. So I get into my office and instead of rushing to do emails like I always did, a few years ago, it's actually during COVID when I started this. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit for a moment. I'm gonna get really centered and grounded. And I'm gonna start the day feeling really freaking good. Right? And we've talked about on the show, right? What's my highest possible vibration? What's the best vibrational day I can have today? And that's how I tee off my work day. It really is. And I sit, I meditate, I do some prayer work, I do some journal work, mantras. And what used to be like 5 minutes is now about an hour where I really just let myself be. So the other day leading up to our book launch of Financial Trendsetters, I was writing this down about evolving and expanding. I'm going to read it to you. As you evolve and expand, people are going to leave, right? People are going to leave because they are no longer in alignment with who you are becoming, what your frequency, what your vibration is. And you might never have been aligned. But what happens, especially as women in business, when we're starting out, we feel like we have to work with everybody, right? We kind of have that desperate energy. I'll work with anybody, just come, I'll do whatever you need to do. We become a people pleaser very easily. But there becomes a shift as you gain more confidence, as you heal reasons why you are a people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser. Yes. You're going to raise your vibration, your frequency. You're going to come into your own. And you can think of a woman who just recently came into her own and you're like, damn, look at her go. She looks like she's floating through life. Like things just come really easily. Things are just flowing right to her. She just lights up the world. She has this magnetic energy around her. Okay. But this is a very scary thing, the thought of people leaving, clients leaving, people in your world leaving, spouses, partners leave, things like that. This is a huge fear, but I want you to shift that fear into freedom. This is a freeing moment when people are shed from your life. As you welcome new opportunities and people, something old and unaligned is going to shed. So, and sometimes you shed first before the new comes in. This lifts you up higher, freer, lighter. Remember, I'm just writing this to myself as a reminder to myself. It is beautiful. What sheds in the end is resistance. We think it's the people shedding, it's the opportunity shedding, right? God closing these doors. But in the end, that's not what is really shedding, it's resistance. There are reasons these people are leaving your life because they were resistance. They were you resisting your higher self. They were you resisting what you were meant to do. They were you resisting feeling worthy to claim it all and to embrace it all. So again, the shedding, which has become a huge fear for so many of us, and for you, is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's actually a miracle. And it is rerouting you, and it's allowing you to shed that resistance. And I want you to feel what that is like, that freedom of things, that resistance shedding from you. And I was going to do it now. We'll wait until the end. We're going to bring on our guest right now. But at the end, stay tuned through. We're going to do a check-in with yourself on where that resistance is being stored in your body as well, that physical resistance. And it's coming, it's manifesting in different ways. It could be headaches, it could be stomach issues, it could be back issues, these little annoying aches and pains that you try to get rid of, they go away, but then they come right back. We're going to do a tune in with your body at the end of this, and it's going to be amazing and magical. So stay with us. And with that, we are going to bring on this legacy activator, this legacy creator right now, one of our amazing advisors at the Wealth Boutique, Veronica Rodgers. Veronica, welcome back to Women Behind the Millions, but now you're coming on as a financial trendsetter.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Jessica. I am so excited about our book and being able to use that well-deserved title, Financial Trendsetter. How amazing is it?
Ooh, I know. I love the energy around it. It is incredible. So Veronica, to give you all backstory, Veronica is a financial educator and advisor with over 20 years experience in the financial industry. She's passionate about adding value to her clients' daily lives, and she takes a holistic approach to wealth management. We're going to get into that tonight, guiding her clients through planning strategies that best suit their individual needs. So Veronica, you are now a best-selling author, one of our co-authors of Financial Trendsetters. What does that feel like?
Amazing. It feels slightly overwhelming because it's like now I have to remind myself, oh yes, I am stepping in to my power. I am leaning in to what God has put me on this earth to do. And therefore it's like, okay, now something great has been given. Much is expected of me to give back to everyone in my community. So it's like, okay, I'm settling in now. I even woke up this morning. My husband was like, so how do you feel? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, he's so supportive.
Oh, he's so supportive, and he is with me every step of this of the way on this journey. And it's like, okay, we're here. Let's embrace it.
Let's embrace it. Yeah. I've had very similar feelings of, you start building something.
Right.
And it's almost like it's not even in your hands anymore. Like God's taken over, it's moving, it's going fast. And your body sometimes can feel like it's in the hangover stage, like trying to keep up with how much things are flowing in your life, to put it in a good way. And my inner child's like, oh my gosh, like there's so much pressure, responsibilities now. Can we handle it? It's like that constant reminder of this is safe. And actually, right before this, we did a prayer. Lord, may I trust and feel safe in what we are building. Lord, may I feel safe and trust what we are building together, right? We're doing this together. I'm a willing participant. God's been asking us, so he's more than willing. He's been like, come on, Jess, when are you going to be ready for this? Because there's a lot that's going to happen. There's a lot that's going to happen, Veronica. Building it together and making sure that our inner child, however you position that or feel about it, is they're there for the ride, and sometimes they need to heal. I know you did a lot of healing over the last year in so many different ways. And when we met, did you expect this, becoming a best-selling author, when we first met? Was this even on your radar?
It was on my wish list. I just didn't realize the possibility that it could come so soon. And especially in the way that it did for me in regards to life experiences and being able to use them within our story and for the book.
Yes. Yes. And a big part of your story is the healing and working through a lot of your loved ones' legacies and their trying times. And I'm thinking back to your chapter, you share a very, very moving moment between you and your husband and your mother-in-law, correct?
Yes,
With it, can you take us into that moment?
Yes. My mother-in-law had suffered from a type of blood cancer for many years. And, we were with her every step of the way. She lived in Washington, D.C., and we had moved down to Richmond, Virginia, which is the city that I grew up close to, and my husband went to college. So we wanted to find a place so we could, establish our roots as we're growing our family. And within a short amount of time frame, my mother-in-law just really fell ill. The cancer took over faster than we saw coming. Sometimes you can get used to a certain situation and just feel as if it becomes normal everyday life. Yes. So when her illness took over, we were surprised. We were a little caught off guard, and it was like, okay, we've got to come together and really figure out how to be here and better support her. So after much resistance, which I'm sure many people can relate with, trying to get your aging parent to get on board with the plans, we were able to get her to come down to live in Richmond with us. She came on her own accord, got her settled in, and within 3 weeks, her body just gave out.
Wow.
She hadn't even been here a full month.
Oh, Veronica. So
it was shocking, life-changing. In the book, I go through the actual day of getting the phone call and understanding where we are in her journey.
Yeah.
And Jessica, it's hard to put into words. The surprise, the heartache, the, again, shock of seeing someone who has always been here with you, who has been a fighter all her life, be called home to glory in a way when we were preparing for her to be with us and her grandchildren in an everyday environment.
Yes.
So
sure. Getting chills as you talk about it. I mean, I can feel the emotions. Everybody who's watching this has been in that situation at some point in their life. And as you're talking, I think right back to, it's always that phone call. And it was my grandmother. We got a call, and I was in high school, and my grandmother would always call on Friday nights. And this time the call was from the hospital. My cousin found her on the floor, non-responsive from a stroke, and left her brain dead. Right. And my mom's getting a flight down to Florida, and she's like, do I bring my black dress? Right. Do I? And we ended up bringing it for her a few days later after they had to make that decision. And like, as you talk about, like, everybody can think back to that phone call that set everything else in motion, Veronica. And for you to be able to share such a emotional and private moment with other people is very courageous of you. And I'm sure writing it was very emotional.
Thank you. Yes, it was. But it was also a part of my healing process. And the healing process hasn't ended per se. It just looks a little different now.
It does, yes. And you've experienced a lot of loss over the last, year and a half?
Yes.
2 years. Left a little room to even move past one of the losses until the next one it came up. How did you adapt to so many, and a lot blindsided you, completely shook you, not expected, you, your husband, family. How did you move through that? You moved to a new city. You started your own financial firm at the Wealth Boutique. You have 2 young kids. How were you able to show up in daily life, Veronica? I do not know.
There are many days I don't know either.
Oh, yes.
But faith, community,
Sure.
transparency, because I know often, especially us women, we do what we can to put on our cape and not allow everyone to see exactly what we're going through. And there were days that I was so honest, maybe too honest, where I told everyone, listen, I don't have the capacity today. Bear with me. I will come back to me, but I need you to know where I am so you can help rally around me. And because of that, I feel as if that aided in my ability to pivot, to shift, to bounce back stronger, faster.
Yeah.
You have to communicate.
Taking it all on.
Yes.
Transparency. And that's not something you hear a lot in the grieving process. People talking about it, knowing it's okay to be transparent around it. I remember hearing Brene Brown talk about her and her husband, when they both get home from work, they'll let each other know, I'm at a 10. And that's all I can contribute to parenting tonight is 10%, right? And the other one might be at like a 60, but that hybrid, like they have to dig deep to find, how do I get myself to 100 for the kids? But then it's going to be, right? Then there might be a day when they're at a 10 or a 5 or a 0, and the other one has to step up. So it's also that true partnership. We talked about your husband so supportive of you, that true partnership, and with the children as well. You're transparent with the kids. You let them know what mommy can give, mommy can't give.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Some days, my oldest daughter, who's 9, she would even come to me and be like, Mom, are you okay? And I had to say, baby girl, no, I'm not. Mom will be okay, but Mom just needs a moment right now to be by herself and collect her thoughts and maybe to cry.
Yes.
And then I'll never forget, Morgan is her name, as you said, that exchange that I had with her, I remember it so well because I looked her in her eyes and I said, do you cry? She was like, yes, but I haven't done it yet. And I said, I need you to. You have the permission to cry. And I think right there for both of us, it was a freeing moment because it allowed us to be human and recognize that it's okay to embrace our humanity in such a dark time.
Yes. Yeah. And that you can do it together. You can share in that moment. You can give each other permission. And that she knows what a healthy relationship is, one that allows her to express that emotion instead of to feel bad about it.
Right.
And to hide it, which is the most valuable thing you can give, especially to a young girl.
Yeah.
If they're growing up, right, as well for it. Now, you also embrace, and this is something that you've brought to your own practice, breath work and Reiki.
Yes.
Is that correct? We talked about this holistic approach that you bring to your clients now. What got you into, let's start with breath work. What got you into learning breath work as a tool during times of high stress, high anxiety, or heightened emotions as well?
Yes. I noticed forever that whenever I became stressed, completely overwhelmed, my stomach would just be in knots. And it became normal to me until probably really realizing after this move, like, Veronica, you have so many things going on. If you keep this knot within your systems, you're going to get sick. And I started researching what is the easiest way I can release this tension within my body, because, excuse me, not only do I feel it all the time, but my family members, they feel it. They're being impacted by the stress that I'm keeping within. I'm keeping it within to not explode, to not, try to keep it together, present as if everything is okay. But I wasn't fooling anyone.
No, you try to keep it in so nobody else gets stressed, but the energy's still there.
The energy was still there and it was bottled up. So I began to research. And one day, I think I was talking to someone and she said, "Well, how do you breathe?" And at first I thought to myself, that's a silly question. We all breathe. And she's like, "No, we don't. No, we don't." And that's when I immediately put two and two together. I'm like, yes, you're right. I hold my breath all the time when I'm under pressure. She said, "Well, have you ever thought about looking into breath work?" Something that seems so simple and just so innate as being a human, but it's not. And once I started to do the research, I'm like, okay, breath work makes sense when you can focus on using what God has given you already within. Figure out a nice pattern, which can be just as simple as just inhaling for 4, holding it for 4 counts, breathing and letting it out for 4 counts. It will slowly release that pressure. And once I started to do that regularly, I realized that was a tool that I wanted to, and I say tool, it's because it's something I needed to reprogram in my mind as a way to, establish a habit. So I used that tool to initially get me through the moving down to Richmond, something I don't discuss, but others will hear in different opportunities, the story with dealing with my father, who also passed away last year. When things began to pile up, I realized, okay, breath work is still great, but then I have a lot more going on. Can I always stop to breathe correctly and, be mindful of that? And that's how I started to say, okay, well, maybe there's something else to help me shift my energy. So along with breath work, I began to research Reiki. Now, for me, Reiki has been a game changer in the sense of adding it into my everyday life as just an additional practice to keep my energy as positive as possible. Again, I'm human, things happen, mother of 2, wife, we live life.
Yes.
But using that as well, and able to remain as grounded as possible, and using it as an ally to my faith, breath work, and so forth, helping me just stay centered and open. That's been the benefit of implementing Reiki as well into my everyday practice. So I do my best to encourage clients who may have never thought of using breath work and may not have heard of Reiki as well, as a way to help them get grounded, stay centered, to discuss any topic that comes along with their finances.
Yes, money's emotional. It can trigger all sorts of trauma from childhood up until now, fears of the future and things like that. And it's not that you can get rid of all stress in our life. That would be impossible, right?
Right.
Let's be honest, it wouldn't be that much fun if it was all donuts and lemonade and cupcakes. But it's how you can train your body to deal in those moments of stress instead of having these huge spikes and then these huge where you're crashing afterwards and you have that stress hangover as well as like when you get those bouts of adrenaline and then the crash afterwards. How can we narrow those? Rains and Reiki and breath work are amazing components of that. Veronica, can you give us a little taste of breath work while you're on here tonight?
Sure. All right. So I'll just ask for everyone to sit back in their chair, get comfortable, centered. Close your eyes if you are inclined, and just take a deep breath and hold it for 4 counts. And while you do that, continue to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. 1, 2. How was that?
Oh, that was good.
It's so quick.
Yes. But what a change, what a shift and it's the breath is something you just rely on. So this to be comforted with something that is a constant in our life during a high stress moment is really, really comforting and securing.
Absolutely. And for that small, short practice, whether it's clean or rough, it doesn't matter. The key was to hold it at the top of your inhale.
Okay.
That's the most important part, because most of us are accustomed to saying, breathe in, release, breathe in, breathe out. But no, it's that hold at the top that allows you to immediately ground, center, and come back to your body.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for taking us through that. I always do the meditation. I'm like, this is nice to be on the other side. I like receiving that. I love it, Veronica. Stay with us. We're going to round out our interview conversation with Veronica. We're just going to take a short break to talk about the newest book, Financial Trendsetters.
Join us for our Financial Trendsetters Gala May 2nd here in New Jersey as we raise money for a scholarship. For tickets, head to jessicaweaver.com.
How was it working with all of these other women on this project, Financial Trendsetters? What was it like for you?
Inspirational. I mean, just being able to work with like-minded women who have similar stories in many capacities. It's refreshing. It's breathtaking to see how each one has turned their trials into triumph.
Yes.
That's why I say it's so inspirational.
I love seeing everybody. I know I read through everybody's chapters and I was blown away by everyone's story, how vulnerable everybody got, the courage it took to do that, to share moments like you did of something that's so private and intimate, dealing with your mother-in-law and that loss and that just shook your family as well. And it's fun now celebrating this project has been birthed. It became a bestseller. It's coming out in 2 weeks at the time of this recording, March 8th. To look back on all of our lives and the setbacks, the struggles, the pain, but then the amazing moments and the times when we're thriving and the triumphs and how everything was just so perfectly and beautifully aligned to get us all here at this time in our life. And then I don't know about you, but I could just see forward all these women just soaring, but not just soaring, but bringing so many people with them as well.
Indeed. I feel as if we are in a time like none other. And more people realize that it's beautiful and wonderful to create a safe space to be vulnerable. And that is what we did within this book, Financial Trendsetters. So yes, we want to pull and bring everyone along with us who has ever questioned their worth, questioned their ability. You will be able to see that not only have we done the same, but we've figured out how to overcome that negative self-talk that we are all so familiar with.
Yes.
In order to inspire others to do the same in their lives.
Yes. To heal from the pain and the trauma of the past, to reprogram, to break that code, that nonstop narrative going on in our mind, and to create that safe place. And again, that's why women make such amazing advisors, why all the book proceeds are going to fund a scholarship to bring more women into the financial industry as well for it. Veronica, it's been such a pleasure diving more and more into your story and this beautiful work that you are bringing to the world. What is next for your firm, the work, your practice that you're doing here?
The goal here for 2024 alone is to reach at least 100 households where women realize that it is truly time for them to create a legacy plan for their family.
Ooh, and we're going to make it easy right now. So here, everybody's watching. You can just scan this QR code and you can get into Veronica's world. I mean, look at that fierce picture of you. I love it. Veronica is amazing. You could just see her heart is just poured into the work that she does. And she does it because she's been there. She's been through that personal piece. So much loss and grief and struggles going through it. And now she's helping other people build a legacy that goes beyond a lifetime. What does legacy mean to you, Veronica? What's that deal?
Peace. It's not just about a dollar amount or the net worth. It's about the peace that you leave for your family with your name.
Peace. I've never heard it described that way, but that is so beautiful and so different. What a fresh perspective on that piece. Amazing, Veronica. Amazing. Well, stay with us, ladies, our money queens, our viewers. Thank you so much for being so supportive of us. We're going to take a quick break. And then when we get back, Veronica's going to share her hot money tip, her financial trends. We're going to do an amazing meditation as well. So stay with us.
Each lady at the Women's Wealth Boutique shares their asset, their magic that they bring to the world. Bringing women together for the greater good is my greatest asset. Uniting women to make huge impacts on women with their wealth. Money is power. Money is a tool to get you the life you desire, to make your own impact, your own legacy. You are worthy of this wealth. If you don't believe me, you can hear it from every single woman at the Women's Wealth Boutique. Hearing new beliefs from experts is another way to rewire your brain. So let's begin with your own healing. You are worthy to invest in yourself. You are worthy of millions, of billions. You are worthy of God's blessings. You are worthy of all the desires you've ever had. You are worthy. We aren't called financial trendsetters for nothing at the Women's Wealth Boutique. Each journey with these ladies, you will see new, innovative, trailblazing strategies that we use with our clients. Our mission is to impact millions of women around the world with their wealth. We are doing things differently at the Women's Wealth Boutique. We are challenging the status quo at the Women's Wealth Boutique. We are here for change to disrupt the financial industry.
Oh, I just get fired up every time I watch that. Thank you, Veronica. It has been such a pleasure having you on the show again for season 2. And my favorite part of the show, hearing our ladies' favorite money move. And I cannot wait to hear what you have for us tonight, Veronica. What is your hot money tip?
With legacy in mind, it is create a living trust, also known as a revocable trust.
Mm-hmm.
You can think of it like a small magic box that can hold your assets, such as your home, investments, bank accounts, even your family precious heirlooms. But see, the magic is in the fact that you get to decide how these treasures are passed to your loved ones, all while you are still here to oversee the process. And you may ask, like, why would this be a hot tip? Because, dun, 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 it can help you sidestep the often lengthy and costly probate process. Your loved ones will thank you for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my hot tip.
Ooh, that's beautiful, Veronica. Yes, it can help keep money in, we call the bloodline, right? Instead of in-laws getting in the way or lawsuits, lots of different ways that it's keeping the money. My father always say, he's like, estate planning gives you control beyond the grave.
Yes.
The trust is going to give you the most control beyond the grave. If you're no longer here, you can still control.
You can control
with your money, but really living up to its purpose it was intended for and not getting messy. I'm sure you know clients who they just fight after a loved one passes. Grief does a number on people, and you don't know how people are going to react. They're all moving through it at different speeds. Different emotions are hitting them. And then on top of it, you throw in money, which already is a hot topic for people. That can cause fight. How many families are just torn apart from the death of a loved one?
Yeah.
Or even just going into a nursing home that's extended care can rip families apart.
Correct.
So the biggest piece of hot money tip is to prepare ahead of time for moments like these, instead of it being a rush during the chaos, during the mess, right? So the hot money tip is a hot mess.
Yes. I am unfortunately speaking it from experience. That's why I am doing everything in my power to get this message out. Avoid unnecessary trauma and grief. Prepare in advance.
Prepare in advance. There you go. You heard it from herself, Veronica Rodgers, the legacy activator. All right. And protector, legacy protector as well. And that leads us to the next part of our segment. What is a financial trend that you are seeing when it comes to women in money or women in business? I want to hear it, Veronica. What do you have for us?
Yeah. So by 2030, I can see an increasing amount of women getting in control of their finances and creating legacy plans for their family, because we are in the generational wealth transfer, the transfer of generational wealth. And also we know we have more opportunities for so many reasons than generations ahead of us or, before us. We can take advantage of what is available to us now to increase our income power, to put everything into place. And that is why in 6 years, I know they say women rule the world. We absolutely will be continually ruling the world and taking control of our families' legacies.
Oh, yep. Being proactive. They're just jumping on it. This is a huge opportunity, as you said, Veronica. It is huge. Yeah. Incredible. Women, they are going to be proactively building out their legacies. It's on their mind, especially, 1,800 businesses a day are started by women.
Yeah.
1,800 a day. They're thinking about legacy, right? That business is a piece of their legacy.
right.
as well. Amazing, Veronica. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your hot money tip, getting that trust, being proactive with your planning, the trend of this is happening, right? You're seeing this happen. They're using your hot money tip, that strategy more and more. And by 2030, which is insane, you said 6 years. I go, there's no way it's 6 years away. It is.
Yeah.
It's 2024. It is 6 years away. That is insane to me. It's going fast. Time goes fast. I recently heard this perspective. I'm going to share with you, Veronica, that when you are young, so let's say you're 2 years old, a year feels like a very long time because it is half of your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's say you're 40, 1 year, right, is a lot smaller percentage of your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So when time feels like it's speeding up, it actually is in relative to how old you are, how long you've been on this earth as well.
That makes perfect sense.
So time, it's going to move faster and faster and faster, unfortunately. I also recently read, which I'm going to take this, I love it, that instead of saying that you're 35 years old, 40 years old, you say, I'm at level 35. And it feels like you're playing a game and you just won a level and now you're going to the next level. So I'm going to take that one.
And I love it because you can also say, because we're leveling up.
Yeah.
We're leveling up.
Every year. We are leveling up.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I'm going to put her QR code here again. She's amazing. Follow her, Veronica Rodgers. She is incredible. And I cannot wait for you all to read her chapter of Financial Trendsetters. Such an amazing chapter, an amazing book. And with that, we're going to enter and we're going to slow things down a little bit, ladies. And we're going to see what resistance are we going to shed tonight so that you can go off peacefully to sleep tonight, because sleep is the most important 8 hours of your day because it sets you up for the next day when you wake up. So with that, as we do a shout out to our course Lift, our 10-week money miracle journey to activate wealth in all areas of your life, I'm going to invite you all to sit back in your chair. Again, we're going to do some of that, more of that breath work. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Hold at the top and breathe out. And if you need to do a little sigh out of your mouth, all the better. If you want to go a little, get it out. That's your heart talking to you. Another deep breath in. Hold at the top and a sigh coming out. Whatever feels good. And with that, I want you to feel into your body where you are feeling the resistance. So I'm saying I can feel it in my chest right away. During that sigh, I felt it. It's in your head, your stomach, arms, legs, neck. Where's that resistance? Place your hand on it and let's breathe into it. Let's see what it needs to tell us. Breathe into it. Let it talk. Is it because you're holding back? Is it because you are trying to control something? Are you expecting something? Is it the pressure you're putting on yourself? Is it the fear of letting go of a relationship, of people pleasing? Fear exists when you operate in the opposite of desire. And this fear really is resistance. So knowing that you are ready to level up to that next level in your life, we're going to ask God to remove all things that are keeping you stuck. God, thank you for moving all things that are destructive. Thank you for removing all destructive people, things, thoughts, beliefs, patterns in my life that are keeping me stuck. Thank you for shedding them from me. And thank you, God, for letting me know what still needs to be healed so that I feel full and enough. What is that peace? Because when we hold on to resistance, you are holding on to some sort of trauma that you haven't healed from. And that's what's leading to the fear. Fear that it's going to happen again because you haven't healed from it. Fear because you don't feel safe in receiving something more, because this trauma made you feel not enough. So what is that moment that made you not feel enough? And go into that moment and let yourself know that you are safe, that you are healed, that you are amazing, that you are incredible, and what God has intended for you is going to blow your mind. That you are so worthy of everything that you desire, that you are worthy of everything that you are co-creating with God, and that you are so loved. And let yourself know what you need to do to finish the healing. What's left to heal. And know that you are well on your way. And that this peace you're going to be able to use to help others. And let the resistance shed from your body. Feel it fall from you to the floor. And just feel yourself floating on an ocean. Floating as the waves take you up and down. Always flowing. The warm water just surrounds you. And you are just in sheer bliss, in abundance. I love the water because it is so healing and it is so abundant. Always flowing, always there for you, always cleansing you and removing anything that is left that needs to be removed. Moving anything that is still in there, all the particles, just seeping away from you as you float. And if you're watching this before bed, just feel free to float off to sleep in the best energy, in abundance and prosperity, and in love and trust. And take a deep breath in and out, and let yourself come back to our show, our episode, because we have one final piece. A special guest wants to ask Veronica her question. You'll bring Veronica back on. Hello, Veronica. How was that?
Beautiful.
I never know where it's going to go. And as we wrap up our show tonight, we have somebody special wants to ask you something.
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
Always takes guests by surprise. She thinks she's a celebrity.
I love it. I love it. There's your legacy. Oh, what makes me a woman behind the millions? Well, I like to say, navigating the world of finance can often feel very overwhelming and like an uncharted ocean. But just imagine, if you had a seasoned captain at the helm of your ship who not only understands the current and undercurrents that are coming along in your journey, but can help you oversee it. That's me. That's what makes me the woman behind the millions, because I have dedicated my career and made a commitment to be more than just an advisor, but to be a companion on your wealth creation voyage.
Ooh, that was good, Veronica. That just gave me a huge sense of security as you're explaining it. And you're right. That's what we all need, right? We want to be making decisions. We want to be engaging. We want to be educated on it. But where do we start? What do we not know that's going to be lurking in the shadows, that's going to keep us up at night? We don't even know why. Having somebody like you that we lean on and we work together and just build together and create together, and you're protecting us all along the way, is incredible. So thank you, Veronica, so much. Thank you for being part of the Wealth Boutique. Thank you for being one of our amazing Financial Trendsetters of our newest best-selling book, and for the work that you do. It's just incredible. And thank you so much to all of our viewers for supporting our show, making it such a hit. We love you. We want to support you. Remember, May 2nd, we are having a huge Financial Trendsetters Gala to raise even more money for this financial scholarship to get more women into the industry. And I'm going to leave you all with, be fun, be silly, be famous, be wealthy, be a legacy, as Veronica says. Be a legacy. Thank you, Veronica, so much for being here with us tonight on Women Behind the Millions.
Thank you.
Hey, money queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at PinkFixMyMoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money